Hello, everyone. My name is Barrett Newberry, CEO and founder of Leasing. This is a new life on leasing, and whether you're a service professional, property manager, investor, or you're a renter, hopefully this gives you a new life on leasing as well. Hey guys, I often talk about how we failed the renter demographic. It becomes more apparent year over year, especially this year with COVID and quarantine and the pandemic. It's grossly over-targeted service professionals who are oftentimes renters, and a lot of the support that we give towards property managers doesn't do anything to reduce the divide between what is management and service. Those two terms just continue to separate more and more. We still employ a business model even where, as a renter, I give you money and you give me shelter with frankly super questionable terms and nothing to show for it in the end. So when people ask me, "Oh, is there another way?" or how we might be able to improve it, I often break it down into about 10 steps. So here's number one: real estate investment. Investors see real estate investing as just an awesome opportunity, of course, and it really bodes the promise of being able to be something that can scale and grow equity around. But it's also something they can touch and feel, and it's just very real. But in number two, investors begin to see this kind of overload where maintenance and accounting and reporting and handholding of the individuals that are living within those properties becomes really onerous. And they didn't get into the business of management or of service. They got into the business of investing. Understandable. It is also not scalable to think that they could do that themselves. And so that's when you start seeing this divide between renters and the investors. But third, property management comes into play. And there's a clear opportunity in this real estate investment game, but you just need to get the right people doing the right thing. And so investors need to stay investors, and property managers need to dig in and be good at what they do, which is management and service. So there's an obvious and sole purpose to that property manager, though, which is to serve and protect the property and the investment, not the consumer. And that's a super important distinction between the renter as well as the service around that property. Property management wasn't there specifically for the renter. It was almost more of an afterthought. So number four, more rules. Well, everyone is trying to scale, and of course, they're trying to add more properties, which all good growing, scaling companies do. And therefore, you can't fly so loose. You have to get more organized, and you have to start setting standards around the business that you run. And that often really creates or perpetuates a big issue. You become less human. You don't look at the people as much as the business itself, further dividing that role between what is the management of that property and what is to live within that property. Number five, the hand slap. A tiny percentage of renters, they default on rent. They don't abide by the rules that you've set around that property, or unfortunately, a small few maybe even damage that property. And so, of course, what is your response as you scale? You need to set, harsher terms within the lease, more strict policies, bigger deposits, and more. So sorry, good renters, we're going to punish you because of the few. Number six, the digital era. And so as we try and kind of see all of the digital opportunity around us as it continues to innovate and improve, we see opportunities with efficiency, automation, scale, etc. And our first answers were, of course, to kind of go back to our business principles, which is maintenance, accounting, and reporting. And so those are kind of the first entry points when it comes to the innovation or digitization of our industry. Number seven, evolving renter demographic. And so something begins to happen socially and economically around the way that we look at renting. For a multitude of reasons, renters become permanent renters or longer term renters with more volatile economic cycles and diminishing access and stability. But of course, also with more transient work or gig economy, work from home, global economy, and the digital tools that frankly kind of start changing that dream of the home and white picket fence and start changing it into flexibility and optionality, things the renter ecosystem provides. Number eight, a weak digital response. So as we see these other industries, begin to improve digitally, we also start influencing our own businesses with background checks, eviction processes, late fees, notices, and more. This does really nothing for the consumer except for further alienate them. And so we begin thinking a little bit deeper about this whole digital response and saying, okay, well, we need to do something for the consumer. And so we add in online payments. What do online payments do? Essentially, they just take money out of the consumer's account and put them into the business's account faster. Not exactly the consumer forward policy that you might think of. Number nine, ancillary services boom. And so the rental economy can't really get out of its own way with the tools and the business processes that we've really embedded into the way that we work. And so we're trying to kind of figure this out, and then other service groups figure it out for us, which is dog walking, rideshare, food delivery, house cleaning, travel, credit repair, investments, financial tools, etc. All of these tools and services that our renter consumer begin spending hundreds of billions on. And we begin seeing this, and this is really interesting, but we don't have a solution for it. And it becomes really difficult for us to kind of shift gears from the business and how we run it into this kind of more balanced, more virtuous cycle, more virtuous ecosystem. And so number 10, which is awesome, this consumer empowerment moment. And so as we kind of look at the rest of the economy and rest of the industries around us, we begin seeing that businesses that put the consumer into the center of our ecosystem begin really better supporting the businesses that we're running as well. And so we're just now beginning to think about how, as a property management software company or as a property management service company, we get better about this opportunity. And I think that there's a huge opportunity moving forward for all of us to actually further this virtuous cycle, start reducing the amount of turnover, increasing loyalty, increasing net operating income, and really start creating and strengthening fantastic consumers. But things are changing. There's huge promise in 2021 moving forward. And I'd be more than happy to welcome you to learn a little bit more about a new life on leasing. Thanks. Talk to you soon. My name's Barrett, CEO of Leasera.